Okay, I don't know if we can start without pre-service music, but we're going to today.
Oh, it's real easy.
Oh, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Happy spring. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces. And a beautiful spring morning, not being windy yet. I'm Sarah, and this is Doug and Lilian. We're going to start you off with a couple of songs. I invite you to stand if that's comfortable.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, I am that I am. I am that I am. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, I am that I am. I am that I am. Oh, I am that I We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest we reap. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is my first time doing this job. Yes, I'm a platform assistant. My name is practitioner Yvette Trujillo, and I am, ready for it? I am your Associate Director of Spiritual Operations.
Yay.
Here we go. Well, welcome so much to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces, where our vision is a world in loving partnership for the good of all. That's a good vision. That's a good vision. So I want to welcome anyone visiting for the first time. Please help yourself, if you are here for the first time, to a packet of information, or if you've forgotten, maybe it's been a while, to a packet of information that you can fill out. There's a form that you can fill out and you get an email address that you provide to us. And when you do that, you're going to get our newsletter. This is important because we're going to touch on some things that are happening, but in the newsletter, you're going to hear about all the things that are happening, right? So sign up for that. And if you are not signed up for our newsletter, you can do that on the website, I believe. You should be able to do that on the website because you do want to know what's going on here. So when you pick up that gift packet, there's a gift certificate in there to the bookstore. So that's also really helpful. I have a few announcements for you. Again, you're going to get a lot more in the newsletter. So first of all, we are having a card sale in the bookstore. Y'all, they're beautiful. They're really, really beautiful. It's not like, oh, these are the ones that are just faded and we don't like them and they have cheesy messages. These are beautiful gift cards. And this is a wonderful opportunity for you to stock up, right? It's the most precious experience to receive a card in the mail. It is a precious experience. You can share and give of yourself in that way. So I invite you to check them out. See if you can pick up a few for the year. Next weekend, we're getting busy, y'all. Sunday, March 29th, Saturday, March 29th, that's the day, Saturday, March 29th, there will be a flute playing workshop from 1 to 3 p.m. How fun is that? A flute playing, I would love to play flute. I'm not here though. With Armand and Angeline, followed by the concert that we've been talking about for a while in the evening from 5 to 7. Right? So there's new music from them for a magical musical comedy concert. That's a fantastic way to spend a Saturday afternoon. So you can come and learn how to play the flute, get some support, go to dinner, go have a beverage of your choice, and then come back for the concert. It's a lovely Saturday afternoon. That's just a suggestion. Also, next Sunday, March 30th, there will be the Celtic Music Concert. That's yours, yeah? Your association? Las Cruces Creatives. This is, we're just loving having you here. Every time I see you, it's just delightful. And online also, I watch you online. So that's going to be happening from 5 to 7. So 7 to 9. I'm glad you're here. From 7 to 9, let me put a note there. We're going to fix that if we have it wrong someplace. Next Sunday, March 30th, 7 to 9, come to the Celtic Music Concert. It's going to be delightful if we have any sense of the music that will be presented from Pat, because we've been getting such delightful music. Okay, the treasure sale. It's here. It's here. We're so excited. It's April 26th is when the treasure sale is, but we will begin accepting donations starting tomorrow. So we're going to be piling it in and organizing it and putting it into categories. So please help us to keep busy and do it early if you can so that we can get that started. Sounds good? Yes, Lilian.
Actually started today because I have a truckload.
Oh. Beautiful. Lilian is getting started early. She brought a truckload of stuff because she's moving. Boo. Oh, yay. We're celebrating you. But she's asking if anybody has the ability to help unload after service. That would be delightful. So we're actually getting this beautiful seed energy into our treasure sale. Thank you, Lilian. Appreciate that. Okay. Those are your announcements. So let's move on. We believe in the power of prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. So the request is to please fill out your prayer request, which can be found in the pockets in the chair backs. So if you're in the front row, just reach back or talk to your neighbor behind you, get to know each other, say hi, get in your names, and get one of those prayer request forms that you can fill out. So there's a box in the back where you can put your prayer requests into. You can also drop it into the offering plate on the table as you exit the sanctuary. I'm confused about that, but that's okay. You can still use our prayer request button on the website. So if you are joining us today by Zoom, you can do that. You can press the little button on our website so that you can give in that way. All right, so our prayer team, which I participated in for the first time this week, you all. Our prayer team, made up of practitioners and ministers from the 4 local New Thought communities, will pray with you in regard to your request. That is a powerful experience. I didn't know what to expect. It was my first time there. It was on Zoom. Holy cow. You need to get your prayer requests in there because you've got this beautiful circle of people that are praying for the thing that you are wanting to have expressed in your life. I really encourage you to do that. All right, in addition, you should you have something that you would like a quick prayer treatment for after service, the practitioners wearing stoles will be around the room to provide this service for you. So I will be available. I'm a practitioner. I don't have my stole yet. Who else is here in service today with the stole? We have Judy, and we have Beth, and we have Lilian, who's volunteering to do that. And Bob. Hi, Bob. Yeah, so you have lots of prayer support today. So if you feel like there's something calling on your heart, something that you need a little bit of extra boost in, something that you're celebrating, right? Like, yes, Spirit, and more, please, right? That's also something that you can do when you take advantage of our prayer treatments at the end of service. And there's also an opportunity for you to fill out a gratitude card for what you are grateful for. And I'm assuming those are in the seat backs behind you as well. I will know all this stuff by heart. And I'll be like, yeah, this is where they are. I know it because I probably put them there in time. So now it is time for song, silence, and prayer.
Yeah, please sing along if you know this one. Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is. Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is, God is all there is.
And so I know that there is one power and one presence. There's one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life right now. Right now. And as I know that to be true for myself, I know that the brilliance, the genius, the joy, the love of the divine lives and breathes and has its being through, in, and as me. It gets to experience life in the world in this one particular way. I know that this is true for every person here today and everyone who can hear my voice. That genius of life, the vibration, the energy of spirit is moving and breathing and having its way through each person that hears my voice. And so knowing that, I know that we can relax and allow spirit to guide and to move and to giggle as we experience this beautiful first Sunday of spring with the joy of calm day, less wind, beautiful sunlight, and warm sun. This is the joy of being alive, and I am so deeply grateful. I know that this morning unfolds with absolute perfection, inspiring the musician, opening each of our hearts that can only be done in a way that music does. The inspired message of Lilian, that we are each touched by it. And I give great gratitude for every volunteer that is here today, giving of themselves to create this beautiful space. And so knowing that it is all done in the mind of God, I say thank you, sweet Spirit. And together we say, and so it is. The reading that I have for us today is from The Science of Mind magazine. You will soon know and learn that I am a pusher of The Science of Mind magazine. I think this is just a wonderful periodical, and I'm inspired by it constantly. My subscription ran out. I'm going to renew it, and I'm also going to send it to my mama. So I think it's a nice thing to also share with people so that they get to know who you are a little bit better and the way that you think. It's kind of fun. So I'm going to be reading from an article, A Reimagining of the Flow of Consciousness, and that is by Reverend Raymond Anderson. It's a piece of it. When we talk about being in the flow and going with the flow, we usually refer to a specific aspect, such as being in the flow of abundance and going with the flow of our intuitive wisdom. We refer to these as life-affirming, what many refer to as positive, because they demonstrate our cooperation with the universe rather than our resistance. Or, as some would say, we are not blocking our blessings. We often get so immersed in the quicksand of jargon that we don't take the time to get clear about what it means for us to be in the flow of abundance. It's almost like the vagueness of it all serves to placate us rather than stretch us into being open at the top and at the bottom. Why would we avoid that, you ask? Because it's easier and requires less work. But love says, that's the truth. Ask any physicist. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. When a cloud dissipates, what happens to the water? It isn't gone. It's just changed form. The same thing goes for you, Ed, or any other human being on this planet. Going with the flow. And so it is.
Okay, we have Pat DeSamuel and Doug Adams is playing with us this morning too.
Maybe doing our collective song second.
Okay, that's cool.
Responding to the flow of the service. So, spring is very much a time of life returning, and in Las Cruces, we also get the gift and wisdom of being reminded that we are only dust. It's interesting often that life comes from life and peace can come through, and perhaps because of tempestuousness. So here's a little bit of meditation on peace in the middle of tempestuousness. So sit back in your chairs and let's hear the wild outside from a calm, stable center. This is called Oh, the Wind and Rain, and it is brand spanking new, but I hope it doesn't sound at all like that. Oh, the wind and rain, rat-a-tat at the window pane. Blessed peace and rest proclaim the wind and rain. Hear now the rain the Lord sends for our harvest. Hear now the rain, it comes like Sabbath rest. Oh, the wind and rain, rat-a-tat at the window pane. Blessed peace and rest proclaim the wind and rain. The storm blows the stove and cinders rise in sermon. Storm blows the stove to the kettle singing hymns. Oh, the wind and rain, rat-a-tat at the window pane. Blessed peace and rest proclaim the wind and rain. Shake, shake and sway, come wind, burst wide the curtains. Shake, shake and sway, as I doze and purr amen. Oh, the wind and rain, rat-a-tat at the window pane. Blessed peace and rest proclaim the wind and rain. Oh, the wind and rain, rat-a-tat at the window pane. Blessed peace and rest proclaim the wind and rain.
Thank you, Pat. Beautiful as always. All right, so I have the honor and the pleasure of introducing our speaker today. You all know her, Lilian Pilot. She's okay. There's a whole list here, so I'm gonna start by reading who she is, and then say a little more. So, Lilian Pilot is a religious science practitioner. She's an artist. She's a writer. She's a speaker, a teacher, and a musician. So for 10 years, Lily was part of CSL Music Ministry in Canada and earned her practitioner license in 2012. She also is trained in the use of sound and music in healing, was a licensed practical nurse, and a bunch of other things. That's what it says right here. And a bunch of other things, all of which have informed her spiritual journey. I love that. And a bunch of other things. What a beautiful life. I know, Lilian, that Reverend Bonnie so wanted to be here today. We talked several weeks back, and we've often, when I say I talked about you, that doesn't sound very good, but it's always been wonderful, and I know that she just appreciates you, your support, your love, and in particular ways for her personally. I know that she deeply appreciates your offering of support and love to her and to this community. So we thank you so much. We're wishing you well on your way, and we will miss you. I'm going to miss getting to know you better, and I know that folks here will be missing you. So welcome, please, to the pulpit, Miss Lilian Pilot.
There's a card sign. I've got it in my hand. Card sign. I'm going to put it on the table back there so sign it.
But keep it under wraps because I don't know anything about it. Well, hey. Hey. Say, hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Okay, yeah. A. Hey, A. Yeah. Oh, wow. You know, I basically completely rewrote my talk on the way here today. You know, I was thinking about some folks I met recently, and they don't say good morning, they say good rising. And that really resonated with me. I thought, well, good morning, what is that? Good time of day. Whereas good rising, what are we doing? We're rising up from our dream state, and we're rising into that re-awareness of the truth of who we are. I just love it. Good rising. Which also kind of makes me laugh. And then I'll tell you a little story. Years ago, I was a volunteer with a really huge music festival. I did it every year for a couple of decades. And one year, I was often with performer hospitality, which meant I got to hang around behind main stage and meet all the, the greats. Not that that sort of did much at the end of the day, but nonetheless. And one year, I was also writing for a local arts weekly publication. And the goal was to just get like mini interviews with as many of the performers as possible, so the paper would do a huge spread with dozens and dozens of interviews. So I'm backstage, and I see Joan arbitrating across the compound. And I'm like, I'm going to get me a Joan arbitrating. And I went over to the manager, and she said, no, Joan's been on tour for like a year. This is her last gig, and she's not doing any interviews. And I thought, well, fair. The woman's exhausted. So about half an hour later, look across the compound, and there's the boom and the camera and Joan arbitrating. I was like, hey, wait a minute. So I went over and stood beside the manager and said, I thought you weren't doing any interviews. She said, look, this has been in the works for months. This is the only one she's doing. It's a big television broadcasting company. And I said, well, I'm here, she's here, you're here. Just one question. She said, okay, fine, one question. Well, now I'm not listening to all the valuable information that Joan is giving the reporter about things she's been doing and working on, whatever, so I could maybe leap off one of those things for my one important question. I'm now going, what the heck am I going to ask Joan? I'm waiting. So moments later, she steps up and she says, hello. Thanks for seeing me. How can I help you? And I said, well, I know there's probably a lot of details about all the stuff you've been doing, but I just want to know personally, you've been on the road for a year. What's the one thing you can't wait to get back to when you get home? And she said, oh, and I watched her melt just a little bit, and I was like, oh, good, right question. She said, oh, I can't wait to start writing. Pardon me? I can't wait to start writing. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Writing. I can't wait to start writing. Oh, writing. She looked at me, she said, well, what'd you think I said? Rising? What, you thought I was going to levitate or something? Just gave me a very weird look and walked away. So I wrote it up and put it in the paper because that was indeed my journalistic impression for the day. So every time I think of good rising, everybody, I also get this little kind of, I'm an idiot. Yeah, but this good rising, I love it. It just is igniting what is already alive in us. Good rising, everybody, reuniting us as we awaken in the morning with the rhythm and flow of the cosmos. And what a lovely place to be. So, of course, I've been thinking a lot about the flow of coming and going, and thinking back over the many times that I've picked up and gone somewhere completely different, gotten rid of everything I owned, and started again in a new country. I'm kind of getting the hang of it. My husband, not so much. This will be his first initiation into the wide world of pulling up stakes and completely leaving everything that is familiar to you. So wish him well on that journey. Anyway, that's some of my little mental meanderings on the way here this morning. So years ago, when my sons, who are now this big, or more like this big, I wrote a book for them. It's called The Cloud Reader. And I'm still going to publish that thing. Just ask Tanya, she'll tell you. The Cloud Reader is essentially about a little autistic boy named Simon, and because our family wouldn't know anything about that. And Simon, he loves clouds. And he also is very confused by the world around him. And so one day he meets this magical man who has this habit of sort of vaporizing, and then suddenly there's a cloud that looks just like him. And then a minute later, there's a guy standing beside you that looks just like that cloud I was just looking at. And the Cloud Reader teaches Simon how to look at the world around him, look at nature, and look into himself and find the answers to everything that he needs. And as a sort of a little lighthearted caution, every time the Cloud Reader is about to disappear and become a cloud, he says, "Remember, Simon, keep looking up." And, you know, it was actually very appropriate for Simon because he had a habit of he had a way of moving around looking at his feet. And he wasn't finding a lot of answers there. So, as I've mentioned, my husband and I are engaged in the process of the sale of a home, which is rather unique. It's not your average city bungalow. And so that's been a really interesting journey, leaving this slice of paradise. And the funny thing is, like for some people, they drive up there and go, "Oh my God, would you go to town once a year?" Because it's like 12 miles on an unpaved mountain road. And we're like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a week, why? But for them, it's so foreign, they can't imagine leaving what they've known as a sort of citified life and living in the middle of nowhere in this intensely cool place, just because it is such a diversion from everything that they know. So basically, it would require embracing an entirely new way of life. So what do you do when everything that you know, everything that's familiar, goes away? What happens if life just suddenly changes? How do you embrace the new? Well, one way you embrace the new every morning when you wake up and you say, "Good rising, everybody." I suggest that we don't embrace the new by staring at our feet. I'm going to suggest that when we do that, it just reinforces our perception of form, of being in a body in the 3D world. You know, many times in my life, I've had people tell me I need to be more grounded, that I'm untethered. And consequently, my choices are perhaps erratic. But, as I look around, I think, how else would I have gotten here? I got here. How did I get here? The only way I could, right? And if I look back over my life, I can see all the comings and goings, and I can see where there was flow and where there wasn't. And this flow, this rhythm is natural. And how we move with it is a reflection of our state of mind. We teach that in Science of Mind. Your external experience is a reflection of your internal experience. But we don't always like actually looking at that. Another whole way of being. And I know that I've tried so many times to just move beyond the apparent parameters of my body. What if I just didn't have to be in it? What if I could just only feel the feeling of being divine? And some of that's been marvelous, and some of that's resulted in some crash landings. So just, a little caution on that particular journey. But we're attached to this business of being in form, aren't we? Don't we just love it? And funnily enough, anxiety and pain are two great mechanisms for keeping the mind fixed on the physical. But I've done that journey. But I've also experienced feelings of expansion where my whole perception of my body just melted into the air around me, and I just existed solely as a sense of buoyancy. And this, by the way, without the use of mind-altering substances. But at the end of the day, dense, light, up, down, in, out. Who are we really, and what is the space that we occupy? So here's the thing. I don't believe that heaven and God are up there. My Father's mansion has many rooms, and they all exist as states of consciousness, not as a physical location. Yet, when I'm feeling prayerful, and I even saw myself do it before service during that wonderful opening prayer, I look up. Why do we do that? Is this like cultural training? Or is there some psychological mechanism at play? Why do we look up like that? And it turns out that looking up actually triggers a physiological response that's associated with a shift in mood and cognitive state. How do you like that? It leads to feelings of openness and relaxation and increased positive emotions. A whole bunch of brain stuff here I don't need to tell you about. And there's more science about looking up. Actually, there's a thing called attention restoration theory and art. How do you like that? I do a lot of art myself. And this theory says that when we're focusing on a task, like working on a computer or studying or paying bills or whatever the thing is, we're using an area of the brain, it's called the anterior insula, if anybody needs to know that, which over time gets tired and it becomes more easily distracted by external stimuli. And so what might begin as the quiet lull of birdsong while you're working away on the computer becomes cacophony and you simply can't function anymore. Somebody turn down the birds. Oh God, I had that with the cicadas in the jungle in Costa Rica. I thought I was going to go nuts. Could you please turn down the cicadas in the mix? Thank you. Anyway, what most folks do when they get tired like this, I need a break, and then maybe they'll go sit somewhere else and scroll social media. They'll look at their friends' vacation pictures or whatever it is that they're engaged in. But guess what? That uses exactly the same part of the brain that just told you it was tired and it needs rest. So There's a heads up for anyone, and I don't know personally anybody who would be mildly addicted to social media. So, looking up is literally good for the brain. And a really great break is just to go outside for a minute and just allow your focus to soften. Instead of being full on one thing, just allow your focus to soften and sort of take in the full breadth of what you're looking at. And if you can be out in nature and have this experience, that's just a great way to reboot that tired brain and give yourself some more juice for the rest of the day. Whether we're taught to bow our heads in reverence or gaze to the heavens, what we're doing is seeking the evidence of wonder. And our physiology actually tells us we're more likely to find it when we're looking up. If we look back through history, we'll see that while people are making plans, the world around them has its own agenda and is making other plans. Anybody had any personal experience with that ever, maybe once or twice? The world just doesn't always appear to be in alignment with what folks think they want, and this has caused a great deal of consternation. I know it has in my life. Who are we? What is real? And if I believe this, why is that happening? I don't get it. So this earthly experience is very, very compelling. And there's a lot of things to just take our attention. But I have come to believe that the practice, and in fact not the practice, the duty, lies in looking towards what is right with the world. Looking up. Looking towards what is beautiful. So my first spiritual mentor was Kenneth George Mills, and I know that I've referred to him a number of times over the years. And his talks were called unfoldments, and the language was very, very precise, and students would spend months studying one unfoldment. Anyway, I'm going to read a little piece. It's an introduction to an unfoldment he gave called the Beauty Unfoldment. And this introduction explains some of Mr. Mills' work. And it's a bit chewy, but it's worth it. Mr. Mills bases his work on the truth, consciousness is fundamental, and what you're conscious of constitutes your experience. This presents the key to unlocking a magnificent statement in the Beauty Unfoldment. The one who perceives that there is no limit perceives beauty not all about, but perceives perception beauty clad. And that is why it can be said to be about. Simply stated, beauty is not in the object perceived, but it is a quality of the consciousness of the perceiver. And upon this understanding, Mr. Mills enables the imagination of each listener to soar and light upon the true recognition that the priceless visitation of a beautiful moment is primarily a subjective, not objective, experience, and is in fact, and here's the nugget, none other than the disguised presence of the God self within, knocking upon the door of one's limited awareness so that he may open it and welcome into his heart the blessings and freedom inherent within his own true being. I'll photocopy that and post it for anybody who wants a redo. So what is my plan? Is my plan dependent on the world's plans? Apparently a little bit, but more importantly, what is in my heart and mind? Can I know the highest and the best regardless of any external appearance? Can I do that? Is it my practice? Because I think it's my duty. I've consistently tried to do this in my life, even though events around me aren't always in alignment or don't always appear to be in alignment with what I think I'm trying to do. Yet I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is a greater good at play, even if it doesn't look like it. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt there's a greater good at play at all times, even when it doesn't look like it. So in the midst of all of these contemplations, this is just me thinking about what I'm going to do in this talk, okay? In the midst of these contemplations, I was thinking heavily, what do I want to share if this is my last in-person talk here? Maybe there'll be some Zoom action in the future. We'll see how that goes. But if this is my last in-person here, what do I want to share? What's most important to me, and what will hopefully be most important to you? And of course, on the heels of that thought, a friend sent me a TED Talk. I was like, oh my God, this is it. Watched the talk, went to sleep, had a delicious sleep, woke up in the morning, and immediately received 4 things in a row that were complete affirmations of what I had just taken in and what I was going to talk about. It was a talk that left me better than it found me. It was a talk that spoke of looking for what's good in the world, and it was a talk that I badly needed in the exact moment that it arrived. So, I'm going to rob blindly from this wonderful man who gave this talk for a couple of minutes here. It's by DeWitt Jones, and he starts off by talking how foundational National Geographic was in his childhood home. Anybody National Geographic kids here? Yep. I remember the beautiful color illustration or photos and looking at traveling vicariously around the world with this wonderful magazine. So I resonated with that right off the top. Anyway, he says he never dreamed that he would have a lifelong career as one of their photographers, let alone a career that taught him a way of life so valuable that it is now his mission to share that with the world. And so I'm going to paraphrase some of what he talked about. The magazine's philosophy is so simple, yet so profound. Every assignment that they sent him on, he was encouraged to go out and celebrate what's right with the world. How wonderful is that? How many people work for a company that say, by the way, today, whatever you do, I want you to just celebrate what's right with whoever you're talking to. He photographed the tallest mountains and sun-drenched rivers and rainbows and waterfalls, and there was something beautiful to be photographed every single place that he looked. But in National Geographic's view, we humanoids were no different. We were part of that nature. And so you might remember a lot of very iconic photos of people from around the world in the magazine. And so the more he went out and celebrated the best in humanity, guess what happened? The more he found it. He went out and he said, it's a beautiful world full of beautiful people. I'm going to go out and photograph it, and hey, look at that. Like over and over again. He could see that the light that shines not on, he could see the light that shines not just on us, but from within us, if we have the courage to let it out. And he reflected the same light that he saw in nature that didn't seem to have to learn to trust to expose itself. And with that as his professional direction, he started seeing things very, very differently through his camera lens. And that changed the lens that he used to look at the world. Our vision controls our perception, and our perception becomes our reality. Now, at one point, he felt this conflict arising because what he saw through his camera lens and the encouragement that he was given from the magazine differed greatly from the paradigm that he was raised in. One of these things doesn't go together, right? He was raised in this law of the jungle, eat or be eaten, my win is your loss, scarcity, competition. These were the ideas that were around him when he was growing up. But what he saw in nature was this incredible beauty and possibility, standing just beyond the edge of the rat race, waving hello. Mother Nature never said, there's one great photograph here and one photographer will find it, and the rest of you will be hopeless losers. This guy, seriously, I am stealing horribly from him. He's a wonderful speaker and very funny man. And he goes on to talk about how he would take a great photo. You'd look at it and go, oh my word, that is... And then 30 seconds later, it's like, oh my God! Because the sun would change angle and all of a sudden it's a cathedral full of diamonds. It's just incredible. Nature just kept giving and giving, and there was no lack and there was no competition. Just unlimited possibility, as well as a much more compassionate way of looking at the world. And he made a conscious decision that no matter how desolate or bleak a situation might seem, if he could just celebrate the best in it, he could find a perspective that would transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. And through that lens of celebration, what became clear was one of nature's most important lessons, which is, are you ready? Do you have pen and paper in case you need this one for later? There's more than one great idea. There's more than one answer. There's more than one great photo. There's 1,000 ways to stack these papers, and one of them will be in order and the others won't. There's 1,000 ways to come at any challenge, and any one of those is going to give you an extraordinary view if you just take one tiny step to the left or right. As you begin to find more and more right answers, you get more and more comfortable with reframing obstacles into opportunities. Celebrating what's right is not a perspective that denies, and he's really clear about this, that denies the very real pain and suffering that exists on the planet. Rather, it's a perspective that puts those problems into a larger, much more balanced context. A context where we can see that there's far more right with the world than there is wrong. Instead of griping about what's wrong with the situation, as we so often do, can we ask, what's right with this? What's good about this? What's going to work? What can I extract from this that is going to keep me rising? Because that's what connects us with our passion. Griping about things might raise our emotions, but it does not raise our passion. Celebrating what's right gives us the energy to find the next right answer. Every day we get to choose what lens we see the world with. Change your lens, change your life. So what do you make of all this positivity? Just holding a positive outlook no matter what. Despite all appearance, everything's in order. No harm, no foul. Nobody moves, nobody gets hurt. It's all fun and games till someone loses an eye. I've had a little bit of personal experience with this recently. There's a tendency to think of people who walk around with this uber positive thing going on as sort of bird-brained Pollyannas, right? Clearly not intelligent enough to actually understand what's going on right now. And I witnessed a quaint little mechanism in my own mind. It goes something like this. I affirm the nature of goodness in the world around me. And I bring myself to an internal climate of positivity. Okay, so far so good. And I speak this positivity aloud, and I'm met with rebuttal. Told the wrong person. Yeah, well, you can think that if you want, but this is what's really going on. Whatever it is that I'm referring to, there's some kind of a suggestion that I don't really understand what's happening, and my positivity is pointless and stupid. And even people that I know who are, generally speaking, positive people still have to throw a little wrinkle of doubt in there sometimes. I find that very distressing. And this, in turn, triggers a feeling of irritation in me. So now I'm putting irritated energy out into the atmosphere, which pairs very nicely with their frightened energy, and off we go, changing the climate again. I need to take a lesson from Mr. DeWitt Jones. To the cynics, he says, change your lens. And yes, sometimes it takes a bit of effort. A climate of faith requires commitment and diligence. I don't know about you, but some mornings I wake up and I don't feel like being committed or diligent. But if I'm open and I just continue to remind myself of all of these things that I actually already know, there will be an opening. Nature will offer something. Saw the first hummingbird on the first day of spring. They come every year on the first day of spring. How the heck do they know how to do that? But every year, in the spring equinox, a hummingbird shows up at our feeders, which we have already lovingly prepared. I have two nephews who are both non-believers in matters of faith, and I was speaking with one of them the other day. And, you know, he wants to do the state of the world, and they have a lot of health issues happening in their family right now. And I told him that I refuse to walk in fear, and that I strive to maintain a climate of positivity, to keep my mind and my thoughts elevated. And he didn't actually fully grasp the meaning of this, in part because he doesn't actually believe in a power greater than his own egoic mind. So then where do you go? But I said, think of it this way. You're riding a horse. It's a lovely day, great ride. Isn't this nice? I'm enjoying this. And then all of a sudden, the horse spooks and starts galloping full speed towards a cliff. You now have several choices. You can jump off and damn the consequences, possibly not walk again, but that's another matter. You can just sit on the horse and wave your arms and scream a lot, help! Which probably won't do anything either. Or you can stay calm, knowing that it's all going to work out. And then while you're in a calm mind, you can make a plan. Might be recommended you do it quickly. You are running on a horse towards a cliff, but nonetheless, stay calm, make a plan, do the plan. Our belief forces reality to adjust, even if logic says it's impossible. Well, I'm not going to tell you that story flew with him either, but, you know, it's just a little gallop in the right direction, I thought. And the simple truth is, the answer is always with us. It's always in us. When we look to the heart rather than to the mind, the next best decision, the next best choice, the next best step will become apparent. Then we just move forward with faith, knowing that the goodness of God has not left the building. God is all there is, and none beside. As Reverend Patrick used to say, there is no spot that God is not. So I remind myself, I am a fractal of God. Therefore, I am having a God experience, no matter what I am doing. How many ways do I undermine myself, like that imposter syndrome thing? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Here's a great example. I carried this erroneous and deeply buried belief that I wasn't qualified to give Sunday talks because I don't have a firm grip on this whole God business, and my personal discipline around spiritual practice, frankly, kind of sucks. And I'm by no means perfect enough to tell anyone else what to do. So over the years, I found myself, watching all kinds of TED Talks YouTube videos and reading and trying to find this magic formula to make it all right. And what I found wasn't the answer that I expected. What I found was that people just want to feel good. Anyone here want to feel bad? Any takers? People want to be uplifted. People want to thrive and love and be loved. So the only prerequisite to speaking is to want to help people feel better. It's the only prerequisite. I don't need a practitioner's license. I don't need anything. All I need to do is grow in myself the capacity to love and to project that love at everyone that I'm in contact with, to make it my waking, my rising thought that I want to leave whatever interaction I have better than I found it. To connect people with ideas that help them achieve their desires, nice. But at the end of the day, I just want to beam love. So I invite you to join me in a great rising, beaming moment called prayer. As I live and breathe and have my being, I know that my beingness is the inside and the outside of the thing itself. God is all there is and none beside. And so as I rise each day, I remember this. I remember that I am a fractal of God. I remember that I am divine. I remember that God is ever present in and as and through me and you and all of life. And in that knowing, there's this incredible rising of the vibration of my own being. I experience that. I experience that shift in energy. And that shift tells me this is true. I know this is true because I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my heart. And I can even talk that crazy mind into feeling it too. And as I lift myself into this pure, beautiful, wonderful knowing, then all that is true around me begins to glow and shout out, yes, we're here. The beauty, the truth, the love, the connection, the principle, the faith. It is all around, every moment, simply awaiting our recognition. So I say yes. I say yes to what's good in the world. I say yes to beauty. I say yes to love. I speak this. I feel this. I know this. And I release this into the cosmic law that simply says yes back. Yes to the beauty, yes to the love, yes to the truth, yes to the principle, yes to the divine nature of being in form. What an incredible gift. Yes. And I know that as I speak this, and as I know this, and as I release this, and it is imprinted in universal law and returned to me a billionfold, that in the release, It is done. It is so, and so it is. One quick tag, I want to thank you all very much. You've been an enormous part of my spiritual journey. My first talks were here, and it's been quite a ride internally, and an incredible gift to me. So thank you all, and bless you all.
Art, whether it's a photograph or a song, can at its best be a very helpful way of focusing attention on the beauty and truth and wonder in the world. And so here's a little piece of praise and celebration for the life that's coming back with the spring that is always alive and always in each of us. This is called Praise for the Life Returning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Streamlets flash with fresh thought laughter, snowdrops pop from new soft earth. Joy is a leaf bug as it dances, all in the rhythm of rebirth. Life beams in through the green gold spring, the frozen world is greening. As earth, sea, and sky sing, 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 praise for the life returning. Born in hope and round unbroken, bird song rings in dawn-burst boughs. How like an egg the ice is cracking over the wildly hatching ground. Life beams in through the green gold spring, the frozen world is greening. As earth, sea, and sky sing, 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 praise for the life returning. Praise for the wheel and praise it's turning. Praise for the ring in riots of blooms. Praise for the life that's ever living, born in all with the world made new. Life beams in through the green gold spring, the frozen world is greening. As earth, sea, and sky sing, 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 praise for the life returning. Praise for the life returning. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Sarah. Thank you.
What a powerful day. You are truly a treasure, Lilian, and I am just knowing that we get to do this again at some point. At least I want to know you. So thank you so much, and Pat, thank you so much for the music. That was spectacular. I have notes. They are here. Now is the time now is the time when we consider giving back to this center. And we have a thank you note from a previous recipient of our donation. And it is from Safe Haven Animal Sanctuary. And they say, "Dear Center for Spiritual Living, thank you for your generous donations." And that's giving me the check number and everything, so I'm skipping ahead. To support the cats and dogs residing at Safe Haven as they await adoption. Your amazing support for the animals in our care is greatly appreciated. We recently finalized adoptions for 2 of our senior residents, Lucky, a 10-year-old cat that had been with us for over 4 years after being rescued from a hoarding case, and Ophelia, a 14-year-old Chihuahua who was surrendered to us with 6 other dogs when her family was evicted from their home. Your continued support made it possible for us to care for these 2 until they could find their forever homes. If either of these 2 pets had ended up at the municipal shelter, sadly, they would not have been granted a second chance. We want you to know how much we appreciate your continued support and how much it means to the special pets in our care. Please accept our heartfelt thanks for making the work we do on behalf of animals like Lucky and Ophelia possible. Thank you all so much for supporting the cats and dogs of Safe Haven. Wasn't that beautiful? That makes me really happy. How beautiful. So what we are doing this month and what we will be donating to 10%, of everything that we collect, 10% comes into the center. Will go this month to Las Cruces Vet Center, so veterans. They offer confidential help for veterans, service members, and their families at no cost in a non-medical setting. So please join me as we affirm our blessings that are up on the screen. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. And so it is. So we're going to listen to a beautiful song.
And sing along.
And sing along.
Beautifully. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So I invite you all to extend your hands out towards these wonderful offerings. And join with me in knowing that the gift of giving is a gift of receiving. And so I know that all of these gifts that have been given so generously to the center and to the organizations that we support, that we indeed are blessed, our center and each of us individually. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for this bounty. And so it is.
So it is.
So it is. Do I take it? Do you take it? Okay. That's good. Okay. I don't really want that responsibility, so that's fantastic. Okay, so now I'm supposed to say, remember that practitioners, me included, are here to pray with you after service. So remember to take advantage of that. We love to pray for you because whenever we pray for you, we're praying for ourselves. So let's join together in our closing song.
Go out and shine. Stand if you'd like. Go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light.
is right. You gotta go out and shine tonight. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. One voice, one band, one heart. Wanna change, make a start. We're one big family. What's good for you is good for me. Come on and go out and shine your light.